Scholars, we are checking out This Week in Warframe based on the screen. No, I'm joking. Even though it does definitely, the similarities are there. We're going to check out, Scholars, what the big O twit is. We don't care about none of this. We covered a lot of the topics during our first section. Unlockable world tier difficulties for our campaign, side quests that you unlock after completing Matter Ball Banes, a 3-player activity that uses abilities you unlock, and Kepler, the new destination, is filled with many secrets. God, if I hear secrets again as a selling point, like I don't want to hear another video game sell secrets as a selling point. It's just been it's so tone deaf at this point. Our current a task, I'm covering all of them and choosing how hard a challenge they want. Okay, next we talk about the depth of the portal. I'm just kind of skimming through if there's anything of value here. No, this is crap we already know. Riots 9 fall update. Next week is Ludopalooza. Like July 8th from the 15th. Who cares? More buy our shit. World's first raid race is back. Cool. Bungie and GS, no one cares. Okay. House of Exile is a lower house made predominantly from the remains of other houses defeated at Twilight Gap. However, according to Cryptarchy, the Exile banner predates Twilight Gap, albeit without an official title. It was simply a collection of malcontents, outcasts, and, well, exiles during the long drift to Earth from Reese. Oh. So we've just got a different faction, like we had the Shadow faction of the Cabal. Cool. While many of the exiles reconstitute into a house on the moon, Luna, a subsect of the house, broke away prior to the Battle of Twilight Gap, refusing to invade Earth. They retreated to the edge of Sol system to live in peace. The exiles on Kepler are believed to be those defectors. So much for peace, right? Paracausal weaponry has been encountered. Guardians should take maximum precautions during engagement on Kepler. Select House's exile armaments have been noted to contain stasis crux cores or compressed strand tangles, which how did they get access to strand and stasis? Wait, oh, okay. It's just crazy how they just suddenly, we have access to it now. Strand tangles suspend in a mixture of elixir technology reminiscent of House Salvation forces under. Yeah, so like how the fuck do they have it? We'll probably find out in the story. Here we go. This is where people actually care about. Weapons tuning. This is the big changes. Hello again from the Destiny 2 sandbox team. Like most of the areas of the game, weapons have gotten many changes in the Edge of Fate. So let's get right into it. Let's go to it. Machine guns. We're trying out something new for Destiny on machine guns. Staged reloads. Machine guns generally have a very long reload animation times that can be very punishing when canceled. We have added several checkpoints from which the animation can be resumed if it is interrupted mid-reload. This is a feature we are rolling out on machine guns first, but we plan to expand this to other weapon types in the future. Now we have stage reloads. Reload places checkpoints in the reload animation. That is actually kind of cool and should have been something like 10 years ago. But you know what? Better late than ever. When a player cancels a reload, it starts again to resume from the last checkpoint. I don't know if someone tell me down below. I don't know if any other game does that though. Glaives. The projectile changes for Glaives and Heresy have been generally positive for the archetype, but ended up opening up a small window where it was actually a nerf to the weapon projectile performance, particularly at short range and PvP. Reduced projectile tracking strength at a very close range to avoid behavior that made the projectile less accurate. Man, when you think glaive changes, you'd hope they do like a little bit more. Perks. Reconstruction. Reconstruction has been underperforming on non-rocket launcher weapons since the nerf that increased the time it needs to start filling a weapon's mag. So we've greatly increased the amount of ammo transferred on each activation. Increase the amount of ammo transfer per activation from 10% to 25%. Now, they're not specifying rockets. They're not saying that, they're just saying in general. They're not specifying specific weapons. They're just saying 25% listen, Reconstruction was still good. I think Reconstruction is back on the table. Though, let's be honest, Reconstruction was good on rockets, mostly because like it always loaded in 2. Like 10% is still 2. As long as it's better than 1%, 2%, you're still getting the 2. Paracalls of Affinity. We generally think it's pretty important for players to be able to anticipate when a damage buff is going to expire, since having one active or not is something players are often making heat of the moment gameplay decisions about. Added a visible timer to the buff. I just think buffs should have timers in general. Kinetic Tremors feels good to use on faster firing weapons, but it can underperform, and yes, I do agree, slow weapons feel bad. Decrease shots to activate on certain weapons. High impact autos require 9 hits. Aggressives and scouts are now 5. Hand cannons have received specific tuning. Oh, okay. Aggressives now are 4. Adaptives require 5, so we're just 1 less. Precisions are unchanged and still require 6 shots. Yes, because they're still good, that's why. 1-2 punch. This was covered in the changes. Now works of all melee. Perk active increase, so they've increased the active time that it's up. That's cool. Attrition orbs is currently too powerful. I knew this nerf was coming. Orb printers are being nerfed. How much? Increase perk progress by 20% across the board. Reduce perk progress by 80% with aerial denial grenades. Damn. This is surprisingly not as noticeable as it sounds. Increase perk progression by additional 30% on swords. That actually is pretty interesting on swords. But damn, this is multi-mac with right now with Kinetic Tremors or printer. So 20% boost is pretty good. But like, if you, I called it when people were just like, or printer go burr, they're gonna nerf it. That's why I've still yet to get farm 1, because I just knew he was gonna get nerfed. If after this nerf it's still good, I will farm for it. But I knew they're gonna nerf it, and I'm not wasting my precious time farming something that I knew was gonna get nerfed. I'm telling you, 10, like almost 11K hours in just Destiny 2 alone. I know how Bungie works. You should absolutely take some of what I say as some truth. Eager Edge and Valiant Charge. Eager Edge's aggressive target tracking presents 2 problems. It makes it more frustrating to use in PvE and makes it somewhat oppressive in PvP. Valiant Charge has some similar issues. It can track to unintended targets related often, which undercuts some of the riposte fantasy that the perk functionality suggests. While active, melee search angle is now reduced by 50% at the start of lunge range and by 80% at the edge of lunge range. This requires that players look at the target to strike, improving specific. I think that's great for PvE in general, not even just for moving. Like that is great. These are great changes. It only took people bitching about it and then DMG making jokes about it to piss everyone off for them to like, hey guys, no, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. Chain reaction. As fun as chain reaction hatchling interaction is, it is inconsistent with other perk combinations, which are generally not allowed to chain explosions together. It is important to be as consistent as possible when we handle these interactions. We don't want our players' ability to tell if a weapon roll is good or not be depending on knowing which perks chain with each other and which don't when it's not listed in game. Threadlings created by weapon perks no longer activate the detonation. Threadlings was already ass, and I would argue so is chain reaction. Like incandescent, destabilizing. This feels really stupid. Like who was abusing chain reaction, like threadlings and chain reaction? There's something coming in from Edge of Fate that has threadlings and chain reaction together, because there's no shot anyone was abusing this, because threadlings themselves are weak, especially end game. What? We hear, these perks currently deal different amounts of damage to different targets based on the type of weapon that activates the perk. In many cases, this makes these perks even worse on weapons that do not use them well in the first place. It's hard to get precision kills with a submachine gun than it is a hand cannon, but Dragonfly also deals less damage when a submachine gun activates it. We want perks to feel stronger on different weapon types for obvious reasons, such as How often a weapon gets precision kills rather than unintuitive ones. Chain reaction. Dragonfly and Firefly no longer use weapon archetypes scaling against combatants, instead use a new perk damage scaling that is more normalized between different weapon types. This buffs many weapons with these perks against most targets. Here are some of the biggest winners with this change. What about the nerfs? I want to know the nerfs. Fusion rifles deal 41%. No one who's going to use the fucking fusion rifle for chain reaction. Submachine guns, 43%. That is actually important to note. Auto rifles, 47. Linear fusion deal 106. No one's using chain reaction for your shit. That shit. Swords deal 100. That, whatever. In the interest of transparency, we want to call out 3 intrinsics that will be changed in a result. At least 5% decreased damage. We do not expect any of these to have serious impacts on balance or perk desirability. Hand cannons with Dragonfly. I never really used them that much anyway. Sniper rifles. Who's using Firefly on sniper rifles for ad clear? Special ammo wayframes. There it is. Deal 6% less damage. But it is insane because wayframes just aren't popular anymore and you're just kicking them while they're down. Like, I don't think Bungie realizes no one touches them anymore because they got nerfed, like double stack nerf, and now they're getting nerfed again. And yeah, you're like 6%. But when you think of all the nerfs that it's gotten, it's just not that exciting. Especially when you can use Lotus, the rocket assisted sidearm, and just Lotus Eater just blows everything up with destabilizing rounds. And we're getting the new Pulse rocket sidearm, the new Pulse assisted rocket. I said that backwards. You know what I mean? Yeah, just weird energy for why they choose to nerf things that are already underperforming. Champion interaction changes. Oh boy, here we go. Got to make champions harder, right? Because everyone just thinks they're useless. In season 20, we added the ability for subclass ignition, jolt, suppression to stun champions, and have since added these verbs, weapon traits, and various weapons through rebalance. We quickly realized these weapons had issues when paired with anti-champion effects from sources like the artifact or radiant. To prevent erratic behavior, we barred certain exotics from gaining external anti-champion capabilities. It has become unclear to the player which exotics are excluded, so we decided to address this formally. Okay, this is something that they effed up on and they're fixing, that they should have done. We have now made certain exotics, most of which apply to a subclass verb through gameplay, intrinsically anti-champion, and will adhere to the following soft rule from now on. Weapons that intrinsically have anti-champion symbol in the weapon tray cannot receive anti-champion capabilities from the artifact or from radiant-like effects. Otherwise, they can receive external anti-champion capabilities and be able to continue their subclass verb anti-champion capabilities. About freaking time. Will this work? This can't work. This can't work. Like, thank God, finally. It's why it was bad in general for veterans, but even for new players, it was just so stupid. I understand why secrets. That should be Bungie's motto, is secrets. Everything has to be a secret, even how the game functions to new players. Vigilance Wing exotic trait last stand felt left behind by things like the Alacrity origin trait. So we made a change that will allow it to be active when running solo in PvE. Who's using Vigilance Wing in solo activities? Like, Vigilance Wing was never a PvE weapon anyways. It was a PvP. It has nothing going for it. Why would I ever use Vigilance Wing over something like Outbreak Perfected? Hierarchy Needs is a cool weapon that currently restricts the player's action too much. We wanted to increase flexibility with the weapon while keeping its fantasy intact. And while we were at it, we let it interact with the other bows wielded by your allies or yourself. Players now gain charges of Guidance Ring with any hit from Hierarchy Needs and only need 3 charges. Thank God. It's a really cool bow. Like, I really liked it. And when it had like mods to really bump up the damage, it was a fun experience. Hierarchy Spawn Guidance Ring duration from 20 seconds. Now rotates to face its owner. How's that gonna work? So just like moves? That's kind of Kind of cool. Now are limited to 1 guidance ring in the world per player. Oh, spawning a second will remove your previous ring. I don't think it mattered though. I don't think spawning multiple would stack it. Maybe it did. All bows now spawn missiles when they gave it the Galahorn treatment. That is actually really cool. All bows, even Wish Ender. Bro, bows are on the table. Like, use Wish Ender to fix an issue when Hierarchy Seeker missiles would not play detonation visual effects. Dude, Hierarchy Needs is probably the highlight of this TWAB. Dead Man's Tale has developed a reputation in Crucible over its years as being, but it has struggled in PvE. We've made some adjustments to help it cancel out its long reload time and reward players for landing their headshots. 17% damage. Nice. Duality. The previous set of changes to Duality were good, but didn't do I forgot they changed it. As much as we're hoping. Apparently the rest of the community didn't realize it either. We've relaxed the trigger on its trait perk to allow it to ramp into good single target damage more consistently. A secondary activator for On the Black Wings now gives the buff when landing most of your pellets on a target. The Navigator is an interesting exotic, but has felt a bit one trick for its woven mail and tangle creation. Pretty much what it's only been used for. We've added a bonus to the weapon while the wielder has woven mail to let it excel when you're using it for its original purpose. Increased damage, 25%. PvP, 5%. I still don't think this is going to make anyone use this game at all. I'm sorry. Maybe if it's a situation where people are desperate for woven mail, but no one's using Navigator to do deep damage or DPS or ad clear. Like, they're mostly there to try to keep people alive if they're using it. Wicked Implement. God, they want this gun to be good. We've shifted Wicked Implement to a faster rate of fire to better align with its gameplay fantasy. With our recent changes to how Stasis interacts with champions, we've also made Wicked Implement to be anti-overload intrinsically to align with the Stasis role in the sandbox. It's now rapid fire, so 260. Now, which 260s are usually the better scout rifle. Now takes on 1 additional hit to start slowing and freezes to account for the faster rate of fire. Increase the magazine to 20. I don't know if this is a buff or a nerf. I do think that the stasis change is a nerf. I think it's a nerf overall. Heart Shadow, a big constrictor for a lot of heavy swords, just how fast they chew through ammo. It makes it hard to choose when and where to use them, especially for a weapon like Heart Shadow that very much wants you to use it to clear out chaff by peeking in and out of invisibility. So if these changes, we've leaned harder into that fantasy, increased ammo reserves, reduced cost heavy attack from 3 from 4. Added defeats while shot in the dark is active, makes you invisible once more. World Line Zero, that's a name that has been talked about. World Line Zero has been a fun sword to play with, but it's largely fallen out of favor since it's lost its ability to let you skate along the introduction of Eager Edge. To give it more defined niche, we are leaning into the Tesseract ability, emphasizing your ad clear via rapid nimble teleports. Increase lunge distance of the heavy by 3 meters. Remove the ability to chain 2 blink attacks back to back. Add the new effect, defeating a target with the Tesseract allows you to Tesseract in for short duration. These extra blink attacks cost less ammo and consume less guard. We'll see how that plays out. I don't think I'll ever use that and for any PvE reason. I feel like it's probably a nerf for speedrunners if they even use World Line Zero. Devil's Ruin is another exotic that has felt a bit one trick for now. We have reworked the weapon to remove its fire on release behavior, as well as making the beam mode more of a reward once it has been enabled. Removed fire on release weapon. Beam is now behind special reload. Kills with the weapon make fire sprites, and picking up fire sprites enables the special reload. So you have to chain into it. Beam can now scorch on hit and ignites on kills. Is now intrinsically anti-unstoppable. Probably will still never use it. Tommy's Matchbook. I actually like this gun. Runs into an issue of survivability and overall usability. These changes focus on improving that experience, allowing players to maintain ignition trigger even if they stop shooting for a moment, and provide intrinsic avenue to heal back lost health without completely removing build crafting potential. We also wanted to provide a higher incentive for players to hit fire this weapon and prove how self-damage is communicated to our user and other players. In general, adding a burning screen effect while the player takes self-damage from ignition trigger. Other players who are taking self-damage from ignition trigger will now have a burning effect surrounding their model. Ignition trigger. The HUD buff now appears as a bar. While ignition trigger is active, the bar changes as you fire the weapon and drains when you don't. So as long as the bar has some charge, ignition trigger will remain active. Heatsink. It fires self-damage decreased by 50%. Wow. Previously 33 less damage. That's huge. Catalyst. Removed improved health regen. Now final blows while ignition trigger an active cure to the user. Scorch on hit is unchanged. Okay. Tommy's might be a little saucy. I still don't think I'll use it in game, but who knows? We'll see. Pair that with like Devour or something. I don't know. We'll see. Winter Bite. With a massive update to how melee changes, this always on effect on Winter Bite ended up being a bit too much free damage, which is funny. This the free damage only was impactful on one singular boss because of Rites of the Nine, and Bungie's like, no, we can't do that. By the way, I think they're making Bungie kind of leaks what's coming into the raid by some of these nerfs and changes. We are definitely going to have a boss you're going to be able to melee sword or something like that. Especially after seeing Rites of the Nine, how people just clobbered bosses with Winter Bite. I fully expect you're going to be able to do something like that with the new raid. So this is probably a reason why it's getting nerfed. Especially in comparison to swords like Wicked Implement, Winter Bite will now intrinsically anti-overload and aligned with other changes. Reduce the enhanced melee damage with ammo to 20% versus bosses down from 50%. See, I'm telling you, Bungie does these changes when they see something they don't like, especially when it comes to the future. I would prepare some good swords and some good melee options. I fully expect to see a boss in the new raid with this. Anti-champion changes. The following weapons have not been rebalanced, but have been given anti-champion capabilities. Unstoppable, Queensbreaker, Salvation's Edge, Dragon's Breath, Anti-Overload, Tractor, Darcy, Two-Tail Fox. Conditional finality can be anti-overload, overload, or unstoppable depending which element. Good. Thank God they didn't nerf that. Regarding PvP, for those of you looking for PvP tuning numbers, we're aware of the math in terms of balancing around fixed health values and the new weapon stat damage modes. We have our finger on the trigger and are aimed at a number of targets. We want to make sure the weapons and perks we choose to tune actually become balanced issues, instead of preemptively nerfing a bunch of builds or playtest styles before you are even able to try them out. Once it is known how realistic it is to achieve certain stat combos and what trade-offs those stat splits enforce, we'll have a more complete picture to determine how problematic these builds actually are in Crucible. Why can't people just be set stats in PvP? Just like make it set stats and make it about gunplay. But here I am. We'll be watching and gathering your feedback, and we are standing by to adjust as necessary in near future. Power and Edge of Fates. I'm just looking because we've beaten this over our head. The first thing you notice when you log in, power inflation of the year says created huge numbers. Power will start at 10. The power band, lots of activities will exist. Okay. In the updated power band from 10 to 200, power work as a traditional when playing the previous soft cap. You'll see progress just by finding gear across whatever you play, from the new Edge of Fate expansion to PvP to patrolling your favorite classic destination. So, okay, playing the activities in the portal will offer increased progression. I don't know why I said progress, but essentially progress. While completing missions and finding secret chests in the Fate Saga expansions will offer the fastest progression. Lots of activity content will exist in the power band, including the entire Edge of Fate expansion pack, event activities, all legacy content, and even the new redacted raid. While these activities won't ask you to earn more than 200 power to play at max effectiveness, they may offer rewards above 200 when played at harder difficulties. More on that later. During the climb to 200, you'll be able to earn Tier 1 and Tier 2, and even an occasional Tier 3. That means all your gear you currently have right now that has stats for Tier 3, that will be the best thing to use. Don't waste your time trying to build anything new. Use what you currently have. This gear is as strong as the legendary, even adept weapons from before Edge of Fate. Only if you're at Tier 3. Don't let them cookie cut you and think, oh, I gotta delete myself. No. Tier 1 and Tier 2 is ass. Garbage. Trash. You want to just keep using your stuff until you get access to either really good Tier 3 drops or Tier 4 and 5. Your progress up to the power cap will also stick around into the new season when Destiny 2 Renegades release in December, giving you consistent access to gear strong or even better, what you're used to, as well as tons of activity. What about the seasonal power bonus? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Okay. I'm skipping ahead. In the Edge of Fate, season power bonus will now live right on your weapons and your armor instead of the seasonal artifact. By overcoming harder challenges in PvE, as customized by you, or challenging yourself in competitive and trials PvP, you can earn gear with greater amounts of seasonal bonus power that will increase your level beyond the power cap. There are no longer weekly limits on how much progress you can earn either, so you can power climb as long as you want to play, just like the artifact bonus power before it. These seasonal bonuses are limited to the current season. Any weapon or armor above the power cap will be back to 200 at the start of the season. Hope you love grinding, because you're going to keep doing the most artificial grind possible. As with the climb to 200, increasing your power level further with seasonal bonus power, you'll be able to earn even higher tiers of armor and weapons with even greater benefits. When the Edge of Fate launches, you will be able to increase your power to 450. Earn high enough grades from portal activities can give consistent growth all the way to 400. Total power 4 to 450 will first come from newly upgraded Prime engrams, which drop with both higher power and high gear tier than your regular rewards. Achieving higher grades in portal activities improves your chances of finding Prime engrams, which are also no longer limited by week. Wait. So you're telling me you have to farm these Prime drops now? Oh boy. With the Ash and Iron major update later this season, you will be able to earn total power up to 550. Regular rewards from the portal activities will be able to drop 500 total power, and Prime engrams will come again gear up to hard cap 550. Those who reach 500 power will be rewarded with regular drops of the highest tier of weapons and armor, Tier 5. So you have to do the seasonal cap to get access to Tier 5. This gear comes with both unique aesthetic qualities and the highest stat, as being able to consistently farm them will be an aspirational journey for the most ambitious guardians. I can tell you right now, this is going to turn off at least half the community. Or half of the half. At this point, half of the community. Infusion is a great way to increase the power of your favorite item, but needing to constantly supply upgrade modules to do it was a hassle. We're simplifying Infusion instead to enhancement cores directly. Any upgrade module you have, you can dismantle to reclaim 500 glimmer or 5,000 and one enhancement core. You can infuse levels of seasonal bonus power into your favorite gear using a new currency called unstable cores. While you find unstable cores from a variety of sources, the primary way to acquire them is by dismantling unneeded gear that the season bonus power levels. The higher the bonus power of the item you dismantle, the greater the number of unstable cores you receive. Likewise, infusing items with a large difference in the bonus power level will take more unstable cores. Unstable cores will have a large inventory cap and will be, okay, large, what is large, like 300? Is that the large, Bungie? Why does everything have to have a damn cap? And will be refreshed at the start of the next season. Like, it's bullshit because it's already seasonal. Why does it have to have a cap? That's so ass. Quality of life. With the Edge of Fate, the power climb should be more intuitive than before, or it should just not exist. Seasonal bonus power offers a refreshed player. Like, here's the thing. I can see if you want to keep the seasonal power grind, sure. But I think just the power grind in general, like you have two different farms. Why? We're just making this more egregious and just more annoying. It's like, great. Most of your time is just going to be sitting there doing portal. Guys, we heard you like the portal. You want to do the portal? We got portal if you're portal. Especially since you can't farm unstables from the rest 90% of the game. God forbid you want to do vault glass and maybe get some unstable cores. Nope, can't do that. Economy updates and the Edge of Fate. I hate this already. I'm going to make an economy video eventually before the release, and I'm just gonna like a whole week maybe of just like breaking down. I don't know, we'll see before it comes out. In the Edge of Fate, we're taking a deeper look at our core game activities, in-game economies, and rebuild them along with the rest of the game. Core game activities, solo ops, fire teams, pinnacle ops, crucible, and trials of Cyrus will be your primary source of glimmer, strange coins, and masterwork materials. These rewards will scale alongside your gear with better rewards coming from higher difficulty content. So you're bottlenecking people more. So people aren't going to be able to do Grandmasters day one for Glimmer, right? And some people don't do that. So you're going to bottleneck people. Oh boy, love this. As you see below, a lot of changes with the release will continue to evolve over seasons based on your feedback and analytics. Oh, I got feedback for you. Armor masterworking. Along with Armor 3.0, masterworking new pieces of armor will have their costs changed depending on the tier of the armor. In our Edge of Fate reveal stream, we mentioned that armor now drops with energy completely filled in. So players can begin build crafting immediately with armor mods. Masterworking armor is now focused on increasing stats. If you want to reach your full potential, you'll want to fully masterwork your armor. The higher the tier, the more it costs. We want players to be able to engage with a masterwork system without worrying about wasting materials or lower tier gear. Additionally, armor can now have 5 masterwork levels rather than 10. If you notice the cost for tier 5 in the table, don't worry yet. We're rebalancing the distribution of masterwork materials pretty dramatically when the Edge of Fate arrives. Enhancement prisms will become a bit more common than they were previously to better fit their role between enhancement cores and ascendant shards. In core activities, you'll have a chance for major enemies to drop materials such as masterwork materials, but even other goodies. Here's a table of masterwork. I'm more interested in tier. Okay, let's just look at this. Holy shit. Actually, I think the Glimmer's fine. Never mind. So 9 enhancement cores. Wait, but it adds up though. Like, okay. Then we have enhancement prisms, 5, and then 3 ascent shards. That's pretty much where we're at anyways, right? To fully max it, that's pretty much. I think most of these are going to be comparable. Ascent prisms are not. I think prisms are a little bit more, but I think everything else stat-wise pretty much lines up. I think the Glimmer is a little bit more like at the early base. I think Glimmer is going to be more of a bottleneck. Like it feels like Glimmer is going to be the new legendary shards more so than it is now. Exotics. Yep. Masterwork level. Yep, 3. Pretty much where it's at. Actually, hold up. I take this back. Aren't regular legendaries 1 ascendant shard? So now they're 3? Oof. Yeah, so tier 3, it's the same. So ascent shard 1, and okay, so essentially it's now tier 5 is the new exotics. That's apparently tier 5 is exotic level. Note that these changes apply only to new armor. Weapon masterwork is unchanged. Okay, cool. So old armor, we're Gucci. Destination materials, which stop dropping from resources nodes, starting in Witch Queen, and later only granted glimmer and or reputation, will be fully depreciated. Cool. Master Rule will no longer accept destination materials and they will no longer have any value. This is okay. I think they are currently they are bottlenecking glimmer. Bungie is making the economy worse. They don't want you. They want it to make it as grindy as possible and not in a good way. Vanguard Ops Onslaught. Onslaught has been rebuilt to be part of the core gameplay activity engine and will drop new tiered rewards. That means the older gear, the Brave Arsenal, needs to be moved to a different place, so the loot pool only offers the new gear. Brave Arsenal weapons will be moved to Xur's Wares. Only the standard non-foil versions of these weapons will be available. So you can only get wow. Some of the that's pretty bad. Like if you ever have a new friend, going and doing Onslaught and getting them like some of the best like starter weapons, like Midnight Coup, Edge Transit, like Fallen Guillotine, like Mountaintop. Now you're gonna have to tell your friend you need to just do a bunch of Nightfalls or whatever, farm up strange coins and pray that you get access to them from Xur on Fridays. Dude, that's a why wouldn't you just put it in Dares of Eternity then? Like Dares of Eternity would have made a much better sense to where to farm them, especially since it's free activity, free. Like Zavala will no longer offer Onslaught attunement. You can't even attune them anymore. Jesus Christ. Bungie, talk about not like that was one of the good things for new players. Like it was a very easy place to go farm like weapons for new players or have friends come in. Like that is such a bad change. Holy shit. I'm so glad I got all the weapons I have. I feel bad for anyone else who hasn't got the good Onslaught weapons. They really don't want you doing going back. Nightfalls. With Nightfalls will remain accessible from the World tab and the Edge of Fate. They will no longer work on a weekly rotator, but on a daily one. Okay. And will include all current Nightfalls and strikes. This, yeah, because the Conqueror seal and the Grandmaster is no longer attached to this. This required some changes to how the loot pool was delivered. Nightfall weapons are now legacy gear. Nightfall loot pool will be updated to include all previous Nightfall weapons that have origin traits. Nightfall rewards are on a knockout list until all Nightfall weapons have been unlocked. From then on, all Night weapons have a flat drop chance. Grandmaster Nightfalls no longer exist as their purpose and function have been transferred to the portal and conquest. You will still experience Grandmaster difficulty just in other activities. But there's no reason to farm the conquest though. Like once you do the conquest mode, they said you just get one drop and that you get a one-time drop. So like they're farming the one thing I love to do is Grandmaster Nightfalls, but those are going away now. Bungie, you stupid dumb fucks. Like I've been like, holy legacy rituals. They're now legacy, guys. Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard. We're now legacy. We're not. It's no longer just rituals. They're legacy now. Activities that don't offer tier gear required some adjustments in the new system. Ritual reputation reward tracks have been what? Ritual engrams have been removed. Legacy focusing remains. By the way, this is the free to play side of the game. By the way. Bungie is killing the free-to-play side of the game. They are murdering it. They're trying to bottleneck you into buying the expansion or playing the 20 missions or sorry, the like 15 activities that are in the portal. Like, holy, they are soft setting 90% of the game. Legacy focusing remains, but costs have been updated for the removal of ritual engrams. Legacy armor and weapons will cost 15k glimmer, 3 enhancement cores. Vendor and reputation rank tracks. When you start playing Edge of Fate, you'll notice the vendor reputation has been removed from vendors in the tower. With the exception of Hawthorne, this new approach comes in hand-in-hand with a rebalance of rewards throughout the game. Without going into too much detail, we can say that removing these reputation tracks allow us to be more rewarding with currency and gear that drop from the activity. I don't believe a fucking thing you say. You know what's funny is we can be more rewarding of currency and gear that drops from activities when it's only 15 activities that you have available in the portal. With that in mind, here's a list of additional changes coming to a fistful of vendors with the new expansion. We hope it helps you understand their new duties. Xur will not sell legendary armor in Edge of Fate. All Xur's legendary armor will be moved to 801, where she will sell them for cosmetic purposes. Xur will now sell 2 exotic armor pieces per class per week. One will be from the existing pool of exotics that XVR has always sold. One will be from Beyondline, Witch Queen, Lightfall, and Final Shape. Players must own the expansions. Guys, I still find they're sunsetting 9% of the game, but they refuse to just make the old stuff free. They're soft sunsetting the reason to do any of these activities, but the exotics themselves, you've got to buy the expansion. God, this is such a bad change. They're going to kill this game. Xur will continue to sell Catalyst, but they have been moved to the strange gear offering submenu. Xur will sell exotic class items every week. Okay. Players will need to acquire the exotic. Yeah. Xur will sell 9 legendary weapons per week, 3 weapons per slot. Class-specific swords, which aren't class-specific anymore, are still in Xur's inventory, but will not be available every week. Xur has had Brave Arsenal weapons added to his inventory. Xur, can you just focus them? Use strange coins and just keep buying them for random rolls? But it's still you gotta make them cheap though, bro. Xur had Legacy, Nightfall, and Trial weapons added to his inventory. Rare chance at Adept weapons showing up. Standard weapons will cost 17. Adept weapons will cost 41 strange coins. Xur has had weapons from Echoes, Revenant, Heresy added to his inventory. Rare chance at Adepts of those. Xur has had Legacy Comp Crucible weapons added to his inventory. Wow. You're not going to be able to focus any of the comp weapons. You're just going to have to buy them outright from Xur now. Boy, I bet the PvP is fuming at that. That was one of the reasons people played comp was to farm weapons. And now you're like, the Legacy shit. Sorry, it's Legacy. Xur will no longer sell Nightfall Ciphers. Gambit Engrams. Okay. So Nightfall Ciphers are going away. Why would they remove Nightfall Ciphers? Because they're going away. There's no reason to hold on to them now. Wow. 801. We have already covered 801's new duties in the previous TWID. She'll have the offer 20 threaded the threadling bounties, legacy armor. We know the tokens for exotics that are tier 2 and shit. Transmog bounties have been overhauled. Bounties that can be completed anywhere. Cool. Banshee the Gunsmith. Reputation has been removed. No longer provides gunsmith reputation. Dismantling gear no longer provides gunsmith material. So tell me, one of the reasons they made this change is because people were pissed off that there was no reason to dismantle weapons. You're getting all this shit, but nothing from them. So you're getting Glimmer, you get a chance at Enhancement Core, and you get reputation that goes into Banshee. His whole purpose was to bring older loot, which was great for new players because you could target farm specific stuff that was easier to get. So why are we handicapping new players or free-to-play players, by the way? Legacy weapons will cost 15k Glimmer. Yeah, guys. So, no. Yeah, 15k Glimmer. Bro. Why? You're making it more expensive. Maybe, okay, so legacy weapons. So he's still going to sell legacy weapons. He didn't say anything about removing focusing. Let me correct myself. I'm correcting myself. But you're still making dismantling weapons and gear shittier now. Reputation has been removed. New exotic armor and edge will be unlocked via the completing the legendary campaign and not through Ryul. Unlocked per class. Novel focusing for exotic armor from past expansions will be available to players immediately with no need to decrypt engrams to unlock it. Costs remain the same for novel focusing. Focusing submenu has been reordered to put the most used screen up front. Wow. They are trying to force you to buy this expansion. Holy shit. They are removing like all these aspects that were like, wow, good for new players, returning players. They just want you to give me your money. New exotic armor. Unlocked per class. By the way, people are like, well, of course they want you to buy. You couldn't unlock the new exotic armor anyways unless you bought the expansion. So like, back it up, Terry, before you start saying this is bad. Novel focusing for exotic from past expansions will be available. So what is novel focusing? So we can use ciphers to unlock previous stuff, even though it doesn't matter because the new stuff is ass anyways. I'll be honest. This is just like, hey, how can we force them to like, I wouldn't even want to farm the new activity anyways. It's tier 2. Ghost mods. As we enter the world of 3.0, where new stats have replaced old ones, and we need to make adjustments to ghost mods as some stats are no longer available and new ones have taken their spot. Similar situation with Nightfall and other activities have become legacy content. Having mods for not up-to-date gear doesn't feel rewarding, so we're removing those mods. Okay, so they're going away. Bye-bye. Some activity mods have been depreciated. We plan to add new ghost mods in the future. Wait. They will be replaced with a new set of armor ghost mods. Okay, we're getting new ones. Great. Assyrian ciphers. Here we go. Will not have a use in Edge of Fate, but they will remain in inventory, and we are not deleting them. We have plans for them in Destiny 2 Renegades. Guys, they will have. We're making changes, but we're not ready for them right now. We're pushing out the changes. We'll get to them eventually. We'll tell you all about. You're gonna have a useless material in your inventory. Trust me, bro. We got you. New Destiny 2 expansion open access. Do you have a friend? No, I'm not encouraging anyone to fucking play this. It's almost Bungie Day. No one gives a shit. You're just gonna. Hey, nothing says Bungie Day like buy our shit. Destiny content vault updates. With the start of year 8 of Destiny 2, certain items will depreciate from your player inventory and correspond with the vault activities campaign. It'll be removed into the Destiny content vaults. God, you gotta love the content vault. What goes into it very rarely comes back out. Episode Heresy Seal, season pass items, vendor rewards, ritual vendor engrams, Bungie rewards, Astral Drake helmet. We had previously shipped a fix to the Astral Drake Hunter Cow that removed the hood due to clipping issues. This was later reverted so that players who liked the visuals of the original hood could continue to enjoy it that way. However, we acknowledge that there were fans of both styles of helmet. As mentioned in the previous tweet, we are finally giving players both options. Cool. This was a long twid, but also a great one, if you want to call it that. This was the sunsetting, like the sunsetting. Like most of this is like, hey, we're sunsetting shit now. This was just like the cherry on top of like, yeah, we're sunsetting. And most of these weapon changes outside of Hierarchy Need, which is obviously one of the best changes, everything else is pretty shit. Like most of the changes, like I'm not excited. This is probably the most under like appreciative change. I'll be honest. It was a pretty bad twid. Especially if you're a new player or returning player or free to play player, Bungie just took a shit on your head. The Edge of Fate Year Prophecy as a whole will bring a lot of changes to your favorite video game. Well, it's not going to be for a lot of people, their favorite video game, but here we go. Yes, we said that a few times already, but it's true. So let's just add something more this time to better understand everything. You're going to need to play and test. Words and videos only get us so far. The good thing is that we are almost there. Yeah, but the thing is people are giving you words based on feedback of like their experience with the game already. And they can tell you that the changes, like, I don't understand people who think that certain changes you have to play to understand that's bad. Sometimes you can look at something and know what it is. Like water. It's clear. You don't have to touch it to know that water's clear. You just look at it. It's clear. It's clear as day. You don't have to touch water. You don't have to touch grass to know it's green. You don't have to touch the grass to know it's green, man. There's some things you don't have to touch to know. Anyways, this is an hour-long video, and it was probably one of the most depressing twids I have seen, except for Hierarchy of Need. I'm actually hyped for that, Bo. But outside of that, man, they are actually killing the 90% of the game. They are literally soft sunsetting the game. It's insane. Well, I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think.